What is going on, guys? Today we are checking out, by popular demand, the i100000 TWS AirPod Pro Clone. But before we jump into what makes these different, I just want to say that if this is your first time to the channel, welcome to Plug and Play. My name is J-Dub, and the goal of this channel is to help you guys make a better tech buying decision. Now, if that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any other videos. Now, with that all out of the way, let's kick it off with an unboxing. So here we have the i100000. Now, these again are going to be some of the best clones that I have seen so far for the AirPods Pro. The packaging, obviously, you got your picture here on the front, and you got your standard information here on the back on what you should see in the packaging here. So nothing special there. We slide this guy open. You get your books on how to pair and all that good stuff. You get the AirPods themselves. You flip this guy open here. Normally you would have a cable here. I took that out to use to charge because I don't keep lightning cables around. I'm an Android guy. And then we have the additional ear tips here. So everything that you need comes in these packages. Very, very nice. Now, these guys are a one-to-one clone on the visual side of things. Okay, these do not have active noise cancellation, so do not expect that. You know, a lot of brands will say that they have the noise cancellation. What they mean is that they have noise isolation, and that just comes from the fact that they have rubberized ear tips which seal the ear. That gives you the passive noise isolation, which means that the sound stays in your ear and doesn't easily come from the outside in because the gel tips are sealing your ear. They don't have the actual active noise cancellation, which is completely different, that the Apple actual AirPods have. So keep that in mind. They do not have that. Now, case-wise, let's just take a look at the case here real quick. You got your lightning cable here on the bottom. You got your, your LED indicator here on the front. No branding, and then you've also got, of course, your pairing button here on the back, which you use to pair with Android devices or devices that don't have iOS 13.2 or above. That's that there. So case, I mean, this looks one-to-one. This is identical to the actual AirPods case. The AirPods themselves look really, really good. Okay, a couple differences you're going to know right off the bat is that this is normally a mesh. This should be a mesh on the air, but it doesn't have any passive audio coming through, so that you got to keep that in mind. You got your connectors here on the bottom. You've got your gel tips on the front. Now, the one difference between the i500 Pro TWS and the i100000s, these guys, is that on the i500 Pro TWS, the touch is up here on the stem, right? So you're touching and tapping the outside of the AirPod to do, skipping tracks and using all of the functions. These guys have actually moved the touch down to the stem here, down to the stem right here. Now, what that does is that brings it more realistically to what the AirPod Pros are, because on the AirPod Pros, you actually have a capacitive button style touch control on this stem here. Keep in mind that you don't squeeze these, you just tap it. These are still just touch control. So they're not, functionality wise, these are not yet one-to-one copy of the AirPod Pros. They're not there yet. There's a long way to go. If you're looking for the look and the style and some of the functionality and for them to work like the AirPod Pros for the most part, these look great. They're going to look good, and that's basically what you're going for here. So don't expect them to have, full functionality parity between these and the real AirPods. Now, as you guys just saw in the unboxing, the i100000 TWS is really standard for the most part in comparison to some of the other ones. It's a very, very much like the i500 TWS, except that the touch controls is not kind of up on the upper part of the earbud, but rather on the stem, which makes them look and appear a little bit more genuine, right? Because if we remember on the actual AirPod Pros, there's a touch capacitive kind of squeezing motion that you do on the stem to make the controls, where on the i500 TWS, the touch up on the top, it doesn't mimic that in any way. And so what they've done here is they've moved that touch capacity down to the stem, which allows it to look, at least to the outside world, a little bit more genuine. One thing I will mention though is that it is touch capacitive. There's no pressure capacity there, and so what that does is that it's very sensitive. It is very sensitive, and it kind of takes you a little bit of time to get used to the sensitivity and how to kind of manipulate that touch, because if you want to make it look like you're using AirPod Pros, trying to squeeze it like that is kind of a weird thing. It kind of messes with the touch controls a little bit. So keep in mind that it is still touch control. They've just moved the contact point from the top to the bottom of the earbud. Outside of that, guys, this is what they look like. They still look pretty darn good as far as they look realistic. They look, you know, if somebody just glanced at you very quickly, they wouldn't know the difference. You know, they'd have to kind of look really close and examine some things and looking for some features to kind of figure it out. So if you're going for an AirPod Pro look, but not wanting to pay the full price, the i100000s are great in the sense that they function just like they should, like a pair of earbuds. They just don't have a lot of the actives, you know, the active noise cancellation isn't present there, you know, and things like that. So some of the big features aren't present, but they do work pretty darn well as a pair of earbuds, and then they look like you're wearing AirPod Pros, which is a pretty sweet deal if that's what you're going for. So now let's talk about some of the other things that matter, right? Microphone quality. I want to get this one out the gate up front. Overall audio quality for people on the other end is just okay. It's nothing special. I think the microphones are on there just because that's what you put on a pair of true wireless earbuds, is you have to have a microphone because people want to be able to do that hands-free calling. And so the functionality is there, but if you're going to be using these as your main, you know, your main functional, you know, conference calling or making lots of sales phone calls or talking to people long periods of time, and you want just really good audio quality from the microphone, these are probably not the earbuds for you. Overall audio quality, it works, it functions. You know, if you're just making, you know, a couple calls a day and things like that to check in with people or whatever, you're going to be just fine. It does function. You can hear people can hear you fine, but it's not the best overall experience. So I wouldn't use this. I wouldn't buy these if that is one of your main buying requirements. Battery life overall is okay. It's exactly what you should expect from a pair of AirPod clones. 4 hours on a full charge is what I was able to get pretty regularly. I tested them multiple times for this, and I landed at pretty much between 4 hours and 4 hours and 15 minutes, depending on the volume level that I was listening at. So it's not the best. I mean, you know, when in comparison to some of the other earbuds on the market, obviously we're not really, you know, competing in that space. But if you're going for that AirPod look, 4 hours of battery life, pretty standard across the board with a lot of the clones, and that's just kind of what you should come to expect. Now, where it does excel is the overall audio quality, and there's going to be people in my comment section that are going to argue with me on this, but audio quality and what you think about audio is totally subjective. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's be real. In my opinion, I think it's a pretty good sound signature overall, especially going from, you know, the AirPod 2 clones to the AirPod Pro clones. You do get a significant audio quality bump, mostly because of the rubberized tip, which gives you that not that active noise cancellation. I almost said active noise cancellation. It does not have active noise cancellation. It gives you that noise isolation. Because of these rubberized tips, these guys do sound, in my opinion, significantly better than the AirPod clones. They do function well. Very more bass on the bass heavy side, right? Bass is kind of present throughout the entire sound signature, but it hits the mids and highs really well. So if you like bass, these are a great pair of earbuds. They do sound pretty darn good. You know, they do have the in-ear optical sensors, so they know, you know, play and pause when you pull them out and stuff like that. So overall sound quality is pretty darn good. I wouldn't say, again, that it's the best, but if you're going for an AirPod Pro Clone, the i100000s do perform in that realm pretty darn well. So at the end of the day, what do I think? Do I think these are worth your money? And overall, I would say that yes, I actually do kind of think that these could be a great solution for an AirPod Pro Clone. The reason why is because when I look over here at my other screen right now, they are currently at about $30 US. On AliExpress. Now, AliExpress, you have to keep in mind that shipping costs can inflate the cost quite a bit, but starting at a $30 price point, not including shipping or anything like that, you're getting a pretty solid pair of earbuds, especially to be AirPod Pro clones, for 30 bucks. So at the end of the day, for a $30 pair of earbuds that look like this, that give you that look, that give you the feel of wearing AirPods, you know, that's a pretty good deal, in my opinion. Keep in mind, you know, shipping times on these guys from AliExpress are going to be extended. You know, it's not fast turnaround. This isn't Amazon. So keep in mind that ordering on AliExpress is kind of a risk as far as that goes. So far, I've heard no complaints about this particular seller on AliExpress. However, I don't work for them. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not sponsored by them. I just got these sent out to me, and so I was happy to show them to you because they are an alternative to some of the other models that are out on the market. I just can't vouch for anything as far as the seller's reputation and things like that. So use your own judgment when you're purchasing on AliExpress especially, but so far I've seen no indication that these guys are scammers or they're, you know, swapping products or anything like that. So overall, the link I'll put down in the description below. You can check that out. Keep in mind, I am affiliated with AliExpress, the store itself, not the seller. So these are affiliate links. If you do make a purchase through that link, I do make a small commission off of that sale, but it comes from AliExpress directly, not the seller of this product in particular. But with that said, again, yes, I do think it's a pretty good deal. For 30 bucks for what you get, I think that's a pretty solid price point. I would like to see a lot more of the clones get down to that price point personally, you know, just because of the nature of what they are. But overall, that's a great price point for the i100000s. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If, again, as usual, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to have a conversation with you guys and answer anything that you may have that I didn't answer already in the video. But outside of that, guys, that is it for me. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Hopefully it helps you guys make a better tech buying decision. But other than that, that's it for me. And I will see you guys in the next video.